Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. We're doing a Zoom class today. We're painting Christmas cards. The two cards that we're painting are, one is the Tetons with a church, and the other one is a dead tree in the snow with a cardinal. The one that we're going to start with is the Tetons with the church. And the first step to this is that we need to draw a little church with a pencil. The spot that it needs to go, so we can even put in a snowbank here. So a little bit higher on this side, comes down and up on that side, and then we need to put a little church in. That's kind of a high snowbank. I'm going to redo that. Do that a little lower. That's better. And I'm going to start with the roof. The roof is just a rectangle. Actually, it's not a rectangle, but a parallelogram. And then it goes over this way. Then the little church comes down. The walls come down, but the roof hangs out. And then here, if we just put up a steeple, just a little square, and then a little point on it. A little door, put some windows, but those will come later. So that's the little sketch of the church. And what I'm going to do is get myself just a tiny bit of PVO. And I'm going to use a credit card to block this church in. I don't know if my credit card's very clean. I'm going to try that again. So if I just very carefully I'm just filling in the whole little church. Steeple. And my little rooftop hanging out here. You can see the eaves on that side. Oh. Oh, there's more. We're going to put in the Grand Tetons with this. So there's the church, and then I want the Grand Teton to be, that's that steeple. Then I don't want the Grand Teton to be smack in the center, just off center a little bit. And it's kind of shaped like a steeple, really. It's sort of sharp. Comes down. And then the mountains just go across the top. Mount Owens, and I think that's Mount Owens, and this is Tiwanaut, and then I don't know the names of them out here. I only know those couple ones close to the Grand Teton. You just make little this is going to be the snow at the top of the mountains. And then what I want to do is, so I made the top of that, the mountains going across. Now what I want to do is use my credit card and make the parallel marks kind of both ways. And keep that snow line above the steeple. So I don't want, what I don't want are big marks coming down lower than the top of the steeple. So that's, that line of PBO for the top of the mountain needs to be above the steeple. And that's the first step. So now that the PBO is on this card, we're going to set it aside and let that PBO dry. And we're going to start to work on this card. So on this card, the first thing we're going to do is just paint this blue background in. And we have to make a decision. The first one we have to make is how high do we want to put that horizon line? Do we want it to be a lot of snow so that there's just a little bit of background with the trees, or because it can't be right in the middle. It has to be either a little higher or a little lower. That's the first decision you have to make, and maybe try it two ways and see which way looks the best. I'm tempted on this one to put the background up just a little bit higher than I have it in this card here, so that the Cardinal will be in the snow, more on the snow. So that's what I'm going to do on this one. I'm going to draw my line, my horizon line of this snowbank just with water. I've got a little paint in it so you can see where I'm doing it. So it's above the half, dips down. I'm going to have a dip, not smack in the lowest part's not smack in the center, and then up again to the side. And now I'm going to wet that. I think I flipped this card inside out somehow, because I think I'm painting on the rough side of the paper rather than the smooth side. Now I'd like to put more blue into that. So I'm just going to use some Antwerp. And I don't know what you want to put in there. You can put in whatever color you want, however bright and cheerful you want it. I feel like this one's kind of dull, or kind of, dark. So I think I'm going to use more Antwerp on this card than I did on the one I did last night. Now there's a little row of trees that I think is kind of good to put in now. So I'm going to use the Antwerp, and I'm going to use indigo. I haven't used indigo a lot lately, but I'm going to try it. If I put them in, the sky is very wet right now, but if I just put these in, oh yeah, it's just going to take off. That's kind of nice though. Look, it's sort of blurry. You can put a few on later that are maybe more distinct, or maybe I won't. I'll just leave them blurry. And now what I'm going to do is just kind of darken the bottom of the snow using the same colors. A little more Antwerp. It's very watery. And make a disappearing edge up to the sky. I'm not going to touch it or it'll blur up. And I'll put in another layer up in there with the with the tree trunk. We'll do that in the next step. I'm going to sign my name. Sign it over here.
Mary Kay, what did you use on the trees? What color?
I used Antwerp and indigo.
Okay.
I put some pink into this one up here. If you would like to, I mean, I can do it in this one too. I can either use pink or violet. But, wow, that's some bright pink there in my palette. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's kind of pretty. Just a little bit of permanent rose. What the heck? Just brighten this up. Just make it a little more cheerful. Okay. So you can, I don't know how this is going to look with a red cardinal, but it's, maybe I need to put a pink cardinal. We'll see.
It's your painting. You can do what you want.
That's right. It's the Bob Ross of watercolors.
Absolutely.
I just dried this with the blow dryer, so it's nice and dry. I'm going to take this a little piece of masking tape. Well, not that little, 5 inches or so. And I'm going to tape at the bottom where the tree goes. So making a little, and I can make it, if I put the tape down kind of uneven, I can get it to make it be just not that even. And then I'm going to rip it here or bring it down this way. So now what I have is a piece of tape there. And what I'm going to do is mix up some nice, what am I going to do? A little specialized machine. It's okay, you deserve it. Just been out mowing the lawn. And I just did a silent step. And now I'm going to mute my silent step and blow dry it.
Oh no.
So this tape has just a little bit of, I put in the same blue, which was Antwerp and indigo, very diluted. I put it over the tape and then I just brushed it with more water as it went up. So if I took the tape off right now, I'd see that dark blue behind the tree right there. That's what I just painted. And now the fun part, to put this tree in. I'm gonna paint some branches in with burnt sienna. I mixed my burnt sienna with indigo, but if you don't have the indigo handy and it doesn't look good, you can try it with French. I just thought I'd try and see what happened. I usually darken my burnt sienna with French ultramarine blue, but just now I darkened it with my indigo, and I like it. Plus, if I have indigo in the painting already, then they all go together. The whole painting, the colors go together. So I'm going to start here at the tape, and I'm going to just put a tree trunk up a little bit with my brush, and then separate it into two different big branches, or two you know, bigger trunks come in. And if it gets thick right here, I have to make the trunk even thicker. I may end up with a really thick trunk here. And then I'm gonna break it. Goes off. So each time a tree branches out, it gets smaller. And this tree, they can start crossing. They're all coming off at about 45 degrees. Now I started a little twig up from the bottom next to that tree. And now I'm just going to make some grasses or twigs. I don't want them all the same distance apart, and I don't want them all straight up. I want some of them kind of crisscrossing. And I need a nice branch that comes up that I can put my cardinal on. So that's where my cardinal's going to sit, on that branch. Now, one of the things that happens when I use my brush is that I get these beautiful, just soft, graceful lines. And what I really want to have are weird little bent things and irregular lines. And if I take my palette knife, which I don't know how many of you have, but I think a lot of you have it, I'm going to mix up a little bit more paint. So that's a burnt sienna and indigo. And if I scrape my palette knife into that little puddle there, I'm holding it vertical, just straight up. It's not sideways at all, it's straight up and down. And if I didn't get enough paint on it. I'll try again. There we go. See how you can't draw a straight line with palette knife. And so you really get this idea that it's weeds. Oh, that's a big dark one. Some blobs. You can even make some branches. I like it better. And that's nice, sweet, straight, little, perfect. Oh, crazy now. I think that's much better. I feel like my trunk isn't very dark. And I should maybe darken it just a bit. Then when I take my tape off, it looks like that tree is growing out of a little snowbank.
So bummed I put my cardinal on with PBO and then I just erased the PBO, and because he's on the snow, I can't see anything.
Yeah, that's tricky. So for the cardinal, I'm going to use permanent alizarin crimson. It's a good cardinal color. And I'm going to use this brush I'm going to touch my paper towel first though. So I have a nice point on this brush, and I am going to set my cardinal right here. So I start up above the branch, and I'm going to put the crown of the cardinal in first, and that's just a skinny little triangle. Then he has a little face, and then he has a breast that hits the branch. And then below the branch is his tail. So small that we're not going to be able to see his feet. And then he has, actually their beaks are sort of orange, but I think if we just make the beak black, it'll be the black and the eye will sort of go together. So it's so small that it's, so I have indigo and burnt sienna, and that makes a nice little black. And I'm just going to put a little beak coming out from where his face is. And all I did was move the red paint out. So now he has a clown nose. You can't see it though because he's so small. This one's I'm gonna have to send this to a clown. And then what I'm gonna do is get a bunch of alizarin crimson on my brush. And I'm gonna just flick it. I don't want it to end up down here in the snow, although it might be like little berries. I'm gonna tap it on my table and see what happens. If I can get some red berries around. I'm getting them all over. Okay, so now I'm going to take my paper towel, my clean, dry paper towel, and set it over the snow there. There we go, that's better. I'm getting them all up in the sky too, though. Ah! Oh, I like those. I've got little baby cardinals. Well, I've got real red spots anyway. I think I'll just smudge them with my finger. Making berries. I've got these all up in the sky. Whoa! I think I need to cover the sky next time. So now I have red in my sky. I'll put a little red down here too. What the heck? No, it's just gone crazy now. I like the top one better. One last thing I'm going to do is my trees back here just faded away. It was so wet. So I'm going to take that same color, very dilute, and I'm just going to paint some trees in. Now it's blurring because of the red I put in there. Well, I have another little layer of trees in there. And that's my Cardinal card. Pull my tape off. And there's that card's all done.
Mary Kay,
I'm going to draw a cardinal a little bit bigger so you can see what I did very small in the painting. If this is my tree branch, I'm going to start my cardinal up above it with a triangle. That's the crown of his head. And then I make a little round spot where his face is going to be, and then a big round spot where the breast hits the tree trunk or the tree branch. And then this, the back of him is really just a line extending from his crown. And then below that is his tail. So if I paint that with alizarin crimson, I make a triangle at the top, a little round spot for his head, and his breast. And then below the branch where he's sitting is his tail feathers. And that's a little bigger one. And then I'll show you it a little smaller. So if I have a tree trunk, stick some red paint. Above the trunk, I make a little triangle, a little bulge where his face is, and then a big breast down to the trunk, or to the branch. And then his tail hangs below the branch. This guy's fat. He has a lot. Then I take some black, which I'm making with burnt sienna and indigo. I'm just going to put a little triangle beak out. Their beaks are actually kind of yellow, and then they have a hood around their eye, but because this is so small, I think if we just put a little black out, a little black triangle out, we'll get the idea that that's a cardinal. Now it's just painted very, very small in the painting. Now that my PBO is dried on this painting, I'm going to start painting it. It's going to be, I'm going to wipe up this red. So it's the sample painting I have here is kind of got a dark cast to it. I don't know that I like it, but I'm gonna try to lighten it up a little bit. I'm gonna start with a little bit more Antwerp.
Mary Kay, I can't see your painting.
Can't see my painting? So I made a little bit of Antwerp blue, and I'm going to put a little bit of alizarin permanent violet into it. Oh, that's kind of pretty. I like that better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet all the top of this painting and over the church down to this line here. I'm wetting it. I've got dirty water in my brush so you can see where I wet it. And I stopped at the snowbank where the church is sitting on. Now I'm going to take this Antwerp and permanent violet bluish and brush it up here into my sky. Maybe make it a little darker. I can put a few stars up there with salt, but if I put my salt in now, it's going to make snowflakes, huge stars, because it's very, very wet. So I need to let it dry a little bit. What I'm going to do now is bring the same colors down. all the way down to the church. One of the things that I did on this painting was I made the background really dark so the church would show up, but then the roof was black and you couldn't see the roof at all. So I figured out it doesn't need to be that dark. So what I'm going to do now is I'm adding a little bit of indigo to that same puddle. And now I'm adding more now. So it's indigo, Antwerp, and permanent violet bluish. I am going to just add, I'm adding some darks behind the church. And I want to keep it by where the church is going to be white. And then above the roof, I just want to add just a little bit of color here. So when I put the roof on and make the roof black, it'll show up. I'll be able to see it. Right here, I have this nice dark color on one side of the steeple. And I really need to have the same color on both sides of the steeple. So what I did was sort of just smudge that across the steeple. So now it's the same on both sides, but kind of light. The steeple will definitely show up, and it's light enough that my roof is going to show up when I paint it in too. And then I can just kind of bring the same color over here. I'm going to make a little bit more paint and put it in right in here. So it's like there's foothills or a little more set of trees or something. So those three colors are Antwerp, permanent violet bluish, and indigo. And I'm just going to darken it in here. But I don't want that dark part to go up to this PBO. I have to stop before the PBO. Oh, that's prettier than the one above it. Next step I'm going to do before I turn it back over to you guys is I'm going to paint the bottom here. It's going to be a bit of a disappearing edge where I paint the bottom and add more water as it goes towards the top of the snowbank where the church is. But I'm trying to leave, I'm going to draw it with a disappearing pencil so you guys know what I'm doing. I'm going to make a little path. So if this is the door to the church, I'm going to make a little path. It's very, very little up there by the size of the door. It's going to come around and kind of turn, and then it's going to get bigger as it comes out this way. Let me draw that a little darker. You can't see it at all. So this is a disappearing pencil. You could even make another S if you wanted to. So it's getting wider and very skinny as it goes up to the church. And when I paint now, I'm going to leave that white. I'm going to go a little bit more with the violet. So I have very dilute paint now. I'm going to paint over the tape. I left my pathway white. And now I'm going to get just water. Great time to sign my name. I think I'll sign it over here. Now my pathway needs to have a little bit of paint in it also. It's turned gray because of the pencil that I used to show you. So I'm just going to paint with a little water and try to get that to disappear. And then it has, there'll be little steps, footprints going up, so not perfectly white. Adding just a little bit of paint next to the path. I think that's good. I'm going to add a little more water right in here. Okay. So, I dried, almost. I dried this painting with a blow dryer so that it's very dry. Whenever you're lifting up the PBO, the painting has to be dry or you'll smudge it. So this is a pickup. Now I'm just going to rub off my PBO. There's my church. Hello, church. It's kind of messy. So the last two steps are just to put a little bit of shadow up in the snow on the top of the mountains and to do a few details on the church. I'm going to try and use a little bit of Antwerp with a little of my purple petal, but mostly Antwerp. I'm going to see how this looks. So what I'm going to do is start at the bottom of these, where I just pulled the PBO off, and see how it looks if I use a little Antwerp down there. It looks sort of out of place in this painting. I think it needs a little more purple. That's better. Make that better. And I can shadow one side of the Grand Teton, just put a little bit of shadow on one side and leave one side white. And then I can do that on these other mountains too. So I'm just darkening the one side, and it looks like maybe the moonlight's catching on them. And that's all I need to do to the tops of those mountains. Now the church needs a nice dark roof. So I'm going to make a dark again with burnt sienna and indigo. And paint in my rooftop. It's pretty dark. Right. Not go that dark.
What color was that?
What colors? I used burnt sienna and indigo.
Thank you.
And there's a little, usually the steeples have little kind of just lines across as they go up. And then these can also have a little bit of shadow down the side, like the mountains. And then I like to put in either yellow windows or stained glass windows, something, and open the door so that it looks like you're looking into the church. So I usually start that with a little bit of yellow, hands of yellow, but I have to rinse my brush out really well, because as soon as you put that dark color in with your yellow, it gets dirty and gray. So it has to be clean brush, clean yellow. And I'm gonna try to make a rectangle here for the door. If we're looking in it, it's yellow light inside. And there's windows, stained glass windows. I'll start those with yellow. There can even be a couple there. And then I can add a little bit of pink to it. Maybe a little bit of blue spots. And if I take this dark purple color, I can kind of just, I think by touching the yellow a little bit and these windows, I can make it look like there's maybe some people standing there, little figures. Yeah, I think we get the idea that there's a little church there, out there in the cold that people have walked to. I was thinking about taking some and just maybe even adding a couple little figures down the path. Really just brush strokes straight up and down. I just made them purple. They're late. They're late to church. And then I pull the tape off. And I think there is a little church out there in Jackson Hole that's underneath the Tetons. Because the pastor at my old church, Lisa, said that when she was a little girl, she went to church there in the Tetons. There's our little painting.
Very rough paper. I was on the wrong side of my paper. So it's really rough. So that might have made a difference.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's really nice.
I like it.
Dee, would you mind showing your other one too? Because I wasn't recording when that.
Oy, okay.
I like it. I like your dark trees in the background on that, and you've got a nice bird.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Well,
really nice. And I like how you're when you put your tape on, you went, you made it crooked so that it really looks like a snowbank.
Yeah, I like that part. The other part, I touched, the wet scotch, the trees, and it bled, and then I had to,
Darken
it was
it.
a mess. Yeah, it was a mess for a while.
Who's next?
Just taking my tape off.
Okay.
While she's doing her tape,
Char,
I'll just do this.
Let
Yeah.
me pin you, Shar.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, Shar, it's beautiful.
Oh, that's
Your
nice.
mountains are gorgeous. I love the gray tone to it.
I didn't put any people in.
That's okay.
They're in town having margaritas.
Yeah, it is too cold to go to church that night anyway. Do you mind showing your other one too? Did you finish it?
Oh, I think it flew away.
Oh, the Cardinal grew wings.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, your nice
Pretty.
thick tree. Yeah, I like your background behind your snowbank. I like that darkness on the front.
I think the Cardinal looks a little bit like Jimmy Durante, though. That's it.
Those are always the best cards when there's just something funny about it that makes you laugh. I just think it's always the best.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Vicky because oh, it's lovely. Oh, you have a lot of people going to church. They're all lining up to go into that beautiful, warm door. And your mountains are gorgeous. Your background is beautiful. Your path in is nice. I like your signature. You did a nice job on the shape of your mountains and the shadowing going up to the top. It's beautiful. I hope you have someone special to give that card to. Do you mind showing your other one too? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I love that tree. And your birds just sitting on there, so nice. Yeah, it's lovely. Just lovely. I love your background. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, Elaine, look at you. Your church is so dramatic because of the dark and the lights. I like that. You have that nice path going in and the people are walking up. I like your snow on your mountain. It looks like it's the snow slopes.
Yeah.
Beautiful darks behind the church. Really nice. Nice card.
I felt like
Did you do it upside down? Does it
Yeah.
open upside down? Ah, I've done that at least 20 times.
I know. I thought, well, I could always scan it and print it right side up.
Yeah, or you can send it to a goofy friend,
Yeah.
someone who will appreciate it. May we see your other card too?
Did you say something else?
Yeah, may we see your other card also?
Oh, sure.
There it is. That's a good bird. I like your whatever your red flowers are and your dark trees in the back. It's so good. It's kind of like a reindeer tree.
I thought the shape could do with a little work, but
Oh, it's beautiful. Arlene.
How do I get down there to show it?
Yeah, no, we can see it. Yeah, I have it pinned. It's beautiful. Yeah, I really like your cardinal sitting on that kind of that old broken branch, and you have just the amount of reds in there. Your background is nice and soft, and it feels really cold and like he's all puffed up.
Okay, I'm not too fond of this one. This one, it's got some, I don't know.
I like it. I like, you look like you're at the Matterhorn.
Could be.
Yeah, I think it's the Matterhorn. And I like your layers, your dark layers and your medium layers and your light layers. And I like that it got kind of blurry there at the door. And you got the people going in. No, it's a great card.
Oh,
Like a, yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Everyone, you all need to give your card to someone very special. So, okay, so who's next? Doris, you look like you're being so patient and, oh, you put it on the other side. That's so smart because it feels like it goes open to the open door. And I
Oh,
love your mountains. I love your blurry trees. Oh yeah, just
pretty.
that's beautiful.
that's a beauty.
Yeah, I like the dark sky that you have behind the mountains, and then how it gets softer. Yeah, that's really beautiful. I love the colors in that right hand side medium in the mid ground. And then it looks like there's some darks right there. Whatever you did, those look good. So you're muted and you're just a little bit blurry. So It's beautiful, very nice. And that one, can you pull it back just a little bit toward you? Yeah, look at that. Now, that's beautiful too. Your background's beautiful. Your foreground, where you by the tape, is beautiful, and then your tree is solid.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how you did the snowbank in front of that tree, and then you've got your cardinal. So, yeah, beautiful. So, Penny, Chris. Ooh, Penny's always remembers who's already gone, and I forget.
You need to pull it back a little bit, Penny. Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go. Oh yeah, beautiful.
I'm happy with the church. I'm doing it again.
Okay. Yeah, your mountains are great though, and the soft trees behind. And I like your people walking in.
Mm-hmm.
Did you put a little salt in the foreground, or did it just do that on its own?
That was, you said make little footprints, and that's sort of how they
And
turned
that's
out.
how they turned out. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, when you fix your church, you'll be happy with it.
Yeah,
Really
Yeah.
nice.
the other one's going to be better.
And do you mind showing us? Yeah. Oh yeah, your colors are nice. I like that blue sky, and I love how you put your trees behind those snowbanks, and your little blots of color in your bushes and your cardinals, very, very red. He's good. Nice shape. He's a
Very
little
good
cardinal.
Very red.
So tell if David paints a cardinal, tell him that it's very
It's
red.
very red. I'll do that.
So now, Vicki, have we seen yours?
Yes,
Chris,
I just have the painting I've been working on.
we want to see it.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
we
want
know
to see.
it's going to be amazing. Oh, it's turning out. Look at all the little
Berries?
berries. Yeah, but I'm thinking of the twigs underneath.
Yeah, grading, it's beautiful.
Oh, keep going, Chris.
That's
You're
really
doing beautifully on it.
I
Wow.
may use it as next year's Christmas card. It's taking me so long.
That works.
Penny, did we see everybody?
You did.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. What, Vicki?
Did we see D's?
yep, you saw mine.
Okay.
I think we're good then. Oh, it's so wonderful to see all of you, and thank you so much for joining my class. I
Thanks
love
for having
it.
us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And make sure you send these cards to some very special people.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Love
Mary
you
Kay.
guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
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 All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.